When it comes to downhill, Nat Faxon and Jim Rash did something that I think is really interesting because the original Force Majeure is a dark, kind of austere comedy and very quiet. And I think people are going to be expecting with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus and even you for this to be a kind of big, broad version of that. Yet it remains fairly small and contained and subtle. What was it like doing a performance like that?
Man, it was so exciting, largely because I'm such a fan of these two rats.
You worked with Will before?
Yeah, I had. I worked with him on The Office.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, and it's funny, before I worked with him, I always would watch those old SNL sketches, Cowbell or whatever, and then and people would laugh. And I'd always be like, don't laugh, you're ruining it. He's being so funny. I'd always get frustrated with the people who would laugh in the sketches. Then I did The Office with him, and I was so diligent about not laughing. Will Ferrell has a predatory sense about comedy where he would start to improvise in these scenes when we were shooting The Office, and I would feel my face start to rebel against my will, and and he has it's like a shark can taste blood in the water from a million miles away. It's like he would at least in my head, see that, and then it was just like someone leaning on you until you just fell to the ground. I mean, it was like I felt so bad for all those actors on SNL who I'd been like, why are you laughing? It's like it's an irresistible force of comedy. It's a tractor beam. I'm blabbing. Basically, I think but I'd also seen Will in Stranger Than Fiction and Everything Must Go, and I'd seen Julia in Enough Said and Veep as well. And one thing that I like about them both, even when they're doing larger comedy stuff, is that they commit so hard to the reality, however absurd the reality is. Ron Burgundy, you never catch Will Ferrell winking from behind Ron Burgundy, even though Ron Burgundy is an insane character. He's in it. And same thing with Julia, And so to be able to see that level of commitment applied to a more sort of conventionally human story was fascinating. And also they've got big, tender hearts. I mean, Will Ferrell, I think I was thinking about it, part of why I think he's so funny is he has there's an underlying tenderness, actually, and a real depth. He's a soulful guy. And Julia is such a beautiful, beautiful actor and has so many, basements and sub-basements to her personality. And I just think seeing those two up close be so human, it was unreal. I mean, it was real. And that was what was so exhilarating about it.